Today from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren, how you doing?
How you doing, good sir? Here in the hot and hazy days of summer. We're doing all right, living the life, chasing the dream. All right, that time I realized I said it, but I'm going to keep on keeping on with that one.
Okay, that's fine. I have come to accept that as one of your verbal tics, and I have many of my own, so...
Right. Yeah, I feel like if I say it enough times, it'll be like my catchphrase, and we'll be able to put it on T-shirts, monetize it, get this podcast up and running, make some ducats, some buku bucks.
That would be nice.
I feel that's the way. And oh Lord, where are my manners, John? We have a guest here in the studio with us. Yeah, yeah.
How do you sneak a guest in here?
Huh? Yeah, we have a guest here today, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lovely guest, an old friend of mine from college, who's a huge fan of our little podcast. She's, I don't know, what can I say about her? She's fantastic. She's wonderful. We both met in college, like I said, and we both share the same love of all things pop culture and nerdy. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Joanna Maharaj.
Yeah. I'm clapping for myself. Is that bad?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
No, please. How you doing, Joe?
Guys. Oh my gosh, this is such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're happy to have you here. Yes.
I would just like to point out that recording with the SNL Nerds on a Saturday night is just so meta.
It kind of is. And oddly enough, this is not our usual record day. Usually we record it on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, I know.
We tape it from New Jersey on a Sunday. We don't take any of the boxes.
That's right.
After the show has aired. Yes, that's usually a good time to do a recap.
Like originally when we were putting the show together, our producer, super producer Frank Ablawi said, you could do the show live right after SNL ends. And I was like, I don't want to stay up until 3 a.m. every damn night.
There's no point, especially now that Showtime at the Apollo is not on after.
That's right.
I am in my 40s, sir. I do not want to do that.
Just saying it sounds exhausts me.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I have to set an alarm for 11:30.
Oh boy.
Take a little disco nap.
Okay.
I will say it is a good thing that I just record every new episode of the show, because a few times I've nodded off during the live show.
There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
There's no shame.
We're not here. We do not shame here.
Yeah.
I'm glad Hulu actually plays it the next day, so I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah. I don't think too many people watch it live really anymore. Like, I mean, super nerds like us do. But I think the average Joe off the street either watches it like in clips on YouTube or on Hulu now. So I think just watching it after it comes on is like the norm at this point. If I had to guess.
Yeah.
You two are doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. We really are.
We try to. Part of the reason we try to watch the actual show live is, one, we want to do the sketches in the same order they air on the show, and two, sometimes there are things in the live show that don't make it to YouTube. So if there's some screw up, somebody drops an F-bomb, there's spontaneous nudity or something, which is always the hope.
Fingers crossed.
Always.
I mean, we just want to catch that. So.
Right. And see them nips.
Way to keep it classy, Darren.
Well, you're the one that said.
He didn't say whose nips.
I didn't say see those nips.
I could mean dude nips. You don't know.
He could mean the chewy little chocolate candy. Is that what
Sure. Right. Okay. All right.
Absolutely. All nips matter, John.
Okay. You're going to have a conversation with our HR department after we finish the recording.
Again?
It's just the policy, okay?
Wow, this is like my third one this week.
I know. And we've only recorded 2 episodes this week. I don't see how this keeps happening. But anyway, speaking of problematic men, our movie this week is the 2016 remake of Ghostbusters, starring Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, and Cecily Strong's in there briefly as well. Is that
Uh,
everybody? Did you skip anybody?
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, holy crap! Oh my god!
oh,
Yes,
blew out
Chris
my can.
Hemsworth. Chris
Yes,
Hemsworth is also in this film.
and he's very handsome.
He's
He
so
is, he's a
handsome.
handsome.
Gorgeous.
He's a handsome man. Yes.
Mm.
Oh, and he smells like fresh laundry
How do you know that?
because I met him.
Oh, right. Yes, you did. Like, wait, when did you meet him?
I met him. I met him 10 years ago at WizardCon. It was the best $150 my ex ever spent on me.
Nice. Was this like a photo opportunity?
It was.
Nice.
Yeah, I went with my friend Jessica, who is also an Aussie, and she's 6'1" and blonde, and it was actually a honest to goodness Las Vegas showgirl.
Wow.
So guess who was getting the attention?
She was a showgirl.
She did wear yellow feathers in her hair.
I knew it.
Wow. Okay. Well, we've got to see that picture. You got to email us that picture
I
when
will.
we're done with this. I'm very curious about this now.
Yeah, the picture looks like this gorgeous Australian couple adopted this little pygmy girl. And she's wearing her little Lego Thor t-shirt because that's her dad now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Australians, they grow them big and beautiful down in Australia. I don't know
It's
what
the
it is.
Vegemite. It's got to be the Vegemite.
Must be. It's like what Hemsworth, Margot Robbie, others.
The other Hemsworth.
Yeah, all the other Hemsworths. My God, they're all like Adonises. Like,
They are a super race. Yeah.
oh boy.
They've just No, I mean that in the best possible way.
I know you just came very close to saying master race, and I started to sweat.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
Okay.
I do not want to get canceled 7 minutes into this.
Guardian. Thor is a god.
That's true.
Yes. I did actually once see Margot Robbie at a New York convention. I didn't get to actually meet her. She was doing like an autograph thing, but I was very close to her, just as stupefying in person. So yes,
I can imagine. Yeah. I'm so looking forward to Barbie.
We're living in a golden age of attractive Australians, people.
So that's on the Barbie.
This is it. Absolutely. But before we go into the movie Ghostbusters for today, Joanna, as we ask all our guests, what was your SNL journey? Are you a casual fan of the show? Are you a diehard fan? Do you have any favorite cast members, eras, sketches? Just walk us down your thoughts on SNL as a whole and take us on your SNL journey.
I was born long ago. No. My SNL journey was like any other kids growing up in the 80s and 90s. You want to stay up late because SNL is a cool, on Friday I'm so aging myself. Friday night you want to stay up for Friday night videos.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then you want to try and have lightning strike twice and stay up for Saturday Night Live. It's live, and just like you guys were saying, you're kind of hoping like someone's gonna say something they shouldn't, or someone's gonna mess up and they can't do a retake.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, the musical groups you start growing up with, you're like, oh my god, they're gonna be on SNL. And then like a huge episode for me is when Madonna was the musical guest.
Oh yeah.
And when she hosted, I think she just married Sean.
Oh wow, yeah, I remember that one.
That was like mid '80s. I don't know if I remember Madonna hosting. I remember Sean Penn hosting in the '80s, and he did a thing because like it was that time when he was like punching all the paparazzi.
Yeah.
And he came out and he was like, oh yeah, there are a lot of misunderstandings about me. Like people think I'm married to Madonna. I wish.
I think her opening sketch was they were showing the wedding because that was the wedding at the time. Sean Penn marrying Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, so this is Sean's side of the family. You just see all these people like hiding their face, like And then she's like, and this is mine. It's just everyone wearing the spandex lace and the earrings and everything. And then
Was it? Did they have the cone bra thing, or was it too early for that?
it was pre comb bra. It was
Wow.
very Lucky Star, like a Virgin Madonna.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
a lot
Okay.
of the lace, a lot of the bangles,
Right.
bangle bracelets, not the bangles. The girls.
Sliding those Ray Bans up.
Slide those
Right.
Ray Bans up.
Yeah, I think I remember that episode. It's like, yeah, we see Madonna's side of the family, and they're all dressed like Madonna,
Yeah.
and then she says, "Oh, but that's my cousin. She's kind of like the black sheep of the family." And they cut to her, and she's dressed like Cyndi Lauper
Yes.
because that's back when there was that Madonna Cyndi Lauper sort of
Lauper.
battle. Yeah, I looked it up just now. That's the Madonna episode from 1985 with musical guest Simple Minds.
Keep
That's
holding on.
that's always so weird when they have a musician host and then they have another musician as the musical guest.
Yeah.
It's
They
like,
didn't want to overburden her.
yeah, but Madonna's right there, you guys.
We got a microphone. Just go up there and sing.
I forget when she was the musical guest. I forget who the host was, but it was right after Bill Clinton had been elected, and she did kind of like the Marilyn Monroe "Happy Birthday," but except it was "Happy Inauguration."
Oh, cute.
Oh yeah, and it was like he was singing to Phil Hartman, who was Bill Clinton, right?
Yeah, and
Yes.
then, and then we realized she wasn't really singing to Bill; she was singing to Chelsea.
Oh my.
Oh,
Yeah,
twist.
Mm.
Wait, how
Justify
old
my.
was Chelsea back then? She was like just a teenager,
yeah,
right?
she was.
Let's yeah, don't yeah, if you think about it, it's like, oh, that was inappropriate.
Oh,
Oh,
1992.
oh dear.
You're so retroactively creepy.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, so I think that's all right. Yeah, that's from the 1993 episode where Madonna was a musical guest and the host was Harvey Keitel.
Oh, it was the wolf.
There's a combo for you. Harvey Keitel and Madonna.
That's yeah, I like it.
It works. I think it works.
I think so.
Yeah, that's a neat combo. That's a neat
Oh,
combo.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harvey Keitel at that point, I think, was kind of like getting this sex symbol status for the piano.
Oh yeah, that was around the piano. That was definitely around like Reservoir Dogs
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
I
Pulp
remember
Fiction wouldn't have been out quite yet, but
I remember like my aunts talking about the piano, and they were kind of impressed that Harvey showed all 88 keys there.
Hey,
Mm.
88 keys and nips. Call back. Call back. That's a callback. A callback.
so Joanna, you actually saw the 2016 Ghostbusters back when it was first released. Now,
I
Darren and I,
did.
we both skipped it back in the day, so this was our very first time watching the movie from beginning to end.
I did. I answered the call.
You answered the call. Okay, let's talk about that tagline for a few minutes because I don't think that's a good tagline. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like a play on who you're gonna
Who you gonna
call.
call?
yeah,
But yeah, still answer the call. It's not that catchy, and it's kind of like
it's not that
okay,
catchy. It's not funny. It's just there, and it's just sort of referencing the old movie, and I don't
yeah,
get why they couldn't come up with something better.
yeah. I mean, that kind of sums up my feelings on this movie in general. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah,
My theory was it was going to be answer the call, and I'm trying to word this.
Okay.
I think it was going to be more like they were like, yeah, this isn't the Ghostbusters you grew up with.
right.
Answering the call was more like urgency because they have some really kind of like thrilling, like kind of creepy moments in Ghostbusters 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So like the one up because I went with a bunch of my girlfriends and there was some like the first kind of interaction with the ghost, the poor guy who works in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of terrifying. And then
Yeah. Yeah.
and then when they're at the concert, like they're going backstage and everything, and the mannequins, and Leslie Jones was, she did the, what every woman of color, nope, didn't, nope, I'm gonna leave. This is not for me. But when the mannequin kind of turns its head, that was really creepy.
That was a little
I,
creepy. Like the opening scene, I thought was a little weird because it starts out with this whole big thing of exposition about the mansion that dude from The Office in Silicon Valley,
Zach Woods.
Zach Woods, thank you. Like he's leading a tour group around, and he's like, "Oh well, here's all the creepy stuff that happened at this mansion back in the day." And I was like, "Okay, this is a lot of exposition you're hitting me with right off the bat, and I have no idea if I'm supposed to remember this all or not. Is
Right.
this just throwaway stuff for your opening gag, or is this are you setting up the main plot of the movie 30 seconds in?"
Yeah,
So
there was a lot of exposition with that one thing. Like I immediately thought, oh, okay, so this is gonna be like a big part of the movie,
mhm.
and no, it's not a
No,
big
not so
part of the
much.
movie at all.
No.
I think what they were trying to do there was they were trying to like kind of just make kind of flip flop it from the original, because the original
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the library other than a ghost.
Well, yeah,
That's
it
true.
it did seem like a little bit of a flipped version of the opening of the 1984 original. And I'm sorry, it's really just impossible to judge this movie on its own terms because it's constantly
Yeah,
falling back to the 1984 version, and so you can't help but compare it to that. And I think that was part of
Yeah.
what kept me from seeing it back in the day because the uniforms are so similar. The equipment is so similar. They have the same logo. They've got the Ecto One. The Ecto One's a little different, but
it's first.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
but even
there
like
didn't
the
seem to
setup
be.
is kind of.
Yeah, they're
I was
scientists,
going to say,
and they have the one non-scientist who's the heart of the
Right.
group. Because I think Patty is
yeah.
the heart of that group, and I related to her so much because she was just, I hang out with smart, nerdy white girls all the time too, and also, she loved you. She loved New York. She knew all the history because Manhattan is one big graveyard.
Yeah.
And so is Brooklyn. Like the Trader Joe's, I took a trolley tour like during Halloween, Madame Morbid's, I think it is, and the Trader Joe on Court Street used to be a graveyard.
Oh dear.
Think
That's
about that next time you're buying olive oil.
right. You're bu- you're buying olive oil on dead bodies.
That's right.
You moved the headstones, but you didn't move the bodies.
Thank you.
So I mean,
Oh, that was a deep
the
cut.
thing that really struck me in the opening was okay. We've got we got the place where the ghost is, and then we're kind of gradually gathering the team together, and then they go investigate this ghost. But it's all like so slow paced in
It
comparison to the
is.
original, and
It is.
I'm watching this and I'm thinking, why is this so much slower paced than a movie from 1984? Shouldn't it be the other way around? But no, there's a whole lot of gathering that, and they don't suit up as the Ghostbusters until like 48 minutes into the movie,
Yeah.
which seems insane to me.
Right, how long
And
did the Ghostbusters wait till they suited up, like the original? I feel like
I'm feeling like that
I feel
had
like
to
it
be
took them a
within the
long
first
time.
20 minutes. I don't know for
Hmm.
sure, but I didn't double check that. But it,
Okay.
I mean, even if it was about the same amount of time, it felt like less time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
yeah, it was a very slow build.
Yeah, yeah. So
Where Egon had
Yeah.
already had a Twinkie in the
exactly.
80s.
I mean, we've got Kristen Wiig as Erin Gilbert, and she's at Columbia. She's trying to get tenure. She's just about to get tenure, and then
yeah.
unexpectedly, this book that she co-wrote with Melissa McCarthy's character Abby, called Ghosts from the Past. Abby has like brought it back into print without Erin's knowledge, And Kristen Wiig doesn't really believe in all the ghost stuff anymore, all the supernatural. So she's like, "Hey, this could really screw things up for me because it doesn't look good as I'm trying to be like this respectable professor type."
She's totally trying to be a Sam Winchester.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so then we find out that yeah, like Aaron and Abby were good friends. They've known each other since high school, but they've kind of grown apart, especially because
Hmm.
of the book. And yeah, yeah. Now Abby's teaching at this kind of rundown school. The I believe it's called the Higgins Kenneth P. Higgins
Was it Higgins?
Institute
I
of
thought it was
Science
actually
in New.
Columbia.
No, no. Kristen Wiig's character is working at
Yeah.
Columbia, but
Okay.
Melissa
Oh,
McCarthy's
okay.
character is
Yes.
working. She's working at
Yeah.
the rundown Higgins Institute with Kate McKinnon's character, um,
Holtzman.
Holtzman,
Yes.
Julian Holtzman,
I will
and
say I loved Kate McKinnon in this movie. She was awesome. I was like, just give me more Holtzman, inject the Holtzman directly into my veins because I thought she was far and away the best performance in the movie. She was awesome.
I
yeah, she was
actually,
kind of like a. Yeah, I mean, she was kind of doing like a modern day Harpo Marx in a way, where she was just so odd and just off the wall and just kind of just in her own world. It was like kind of endearing, too.
And she was also just so supremely confident. I really liked that. I liked it. It seemed like everybody else was either playing variations on one of the original characters or they were like I thought there was a lot of overlap between Kristen Wiig's and Melissa McCarthy's characters because they were both just kind of nervous, you know.
and they were ad libbing a lot. If
Oh,
memory serves, I know a
there's
lot of that was like the whole Kevin interview
yeah,
was a lot
Yeah,
of ad lib. They were just
yeah. I
yeah,
thought
that's
I didn't think the movie was paced very well just because it had so much of that shaggy sort of Paul Feig, Judd Apatow. We're going
yeah.
to ad lib, and it's going to be better than any script. And sometimes ad libbing is good, but a lot of times I'm just like, can't you just script a scene, please?
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's one of my kind of gripes about the movie is like there was a
Yeah,
lot of that, like you mentioned, Joanna, like the whole interview scene with Kevin, where it was just
Chris
just him
Hemsworth's
kind of
character.
just Chris
Yeah,
Hemsworth, kind of going off, and Chris Hemsworth can be funny,
yeah,
but yeah, it just
really
seemed like it
glad.
was kind of because it felt like it was really kind of going anywhere, and it was kind of meandering a bit. It felt like it was slowing down the movie, and I felt the same way also about those scenes where they were testing the ghost
The
catching equipment
equipment.
in the
Yeah.
alleyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, does this add anything? Like I
they,
kind of wanted them to take those scenes out and just kind of put those into maybe building and fleshing out the characters a little bit more because I thought the characters were all right, but I think I kind of wanted them to be a little bit more fleshed out so we cared about them more a little bit. I
yeah,
would have loved to have more like more into the relationship between Kristen Wiig's character and Melissa McCarthy's character because I'll jump ahead. That scene where Kristen Wiig jumps into the vortex to save Melissa
Yeah.
McCarthy. Like I felt like that would have meant more if we knew more about their friendship, and like I felt like that should have been a way more impactful emotional moment. But they
yeah.
didn't really put much into building their friendships. I don't think we really got the
I
moment that they wanted us to get.
I think that scene could have just been shot differently. Like we didn't have to see them both go in. Kind of like, in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when they think Indy's fallen off the cliff and all of a sudden you just see his hand and then he has the stones.
Hmm.
I think that would have been more effective. Like if like you just saw them jump in and then like come back out with their new scared white hair.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't make too much of them coming out with the white hair. Yeah, it was
Yeah, they never even explained it. They were just like, "Oh yeah, your hair's white now," and
yeah,
the
I
end.
yeah,
think they got the shit scared out of them.
Oh,
That'll do it.
yeah.
maybe they
But
saw shit that'll turn their hair white.
in
They
the
saw shit that will turn your hair white.
oh geez, I didn't even get that.
I just got it now. If that's what they were going for, like, was that what they were going for?
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
There
I
are
don't know. I'm
subtle. There are so many subtle homages and kind of like love notes
yeah,
to the original movie, which kind of helped and hurt because I know they didn't want to go into this movie like we can do it. I don't think that was the idea going in, like we can do a better version. I don't think, and I think a lot of people thought that was the case. I also think these people live in their mama's basement. Um,
Mm.
yeah,
Tell
I'll go there
I mean, yeah, it's.
because there's a lot of Rowans in this world.
I mean, look. I
Yeah.
mean, I know they got so much shit for doing this movie. I
They
mean,
got
this
so
movie
much shit.
became nuclear. I think it became like so many people voted it thumbs down. The trailer thumbs down on YouTube. It was like
And
the lowest
started to spread the word like
rated thing. Yeah, and people were like review bombing it and all that. And they even made some jokes about that in the movie where they're
yeah,
getting like rude YouTube comments like
yeah.
"bitches can't be Ghostbusters," and I don't know that it got a
Yeah.
little
It.
too meta for me.
I think at one point, like according to Wikipedia, by May 2016, the trailer had become the most disliked film trailer on YouTube. Like out of all the videos on YouTube, this is the one people hated the most, which
Yeah.
is telling.
It's,
Yeah, and also I think it's because it's like I think we talked about this before we got on air. Like this came out in 2016, which
Hmm.
we all remember what happened then, and it became like 2016. I mean, for my money, was the most contentious election year we've ever had, and like the most volatile,
Now, why do
toxic
you feel that,
year
Dan?
we've ever. Well, a few things happened, but let's
Okay.
not go into it because I don't want to
All right.
spiral and
Okay.
cry.
I'm gonna do
And
some
like
googling. I'm gonna find out what happened in 2016.
yeah, but
I'm
yeah, it was
making
like one of those things where like there was there was so much toxicity in the air, like it was like a river of slime that like it all kind of like
a
that
pink
toxicity
slime
sort of
at
bled
that.
into the. Yeah, exactly. And it bled into the movies to the point where a movie about catching ghosts somehow became like a political lightning rod for people. And I was like,
Okay, so I
this is
I have just found
ridiculous.
an article on the Atlantic, the 10 most significant world events in 2016, and
Okay.
oh
Oh,
oh no
Uh,
oh
I,
that doesn't sound good.
what happened?
I,
Oh,
Spill the tea, John.
what? Wait, the Apprentice guy? Oh, holy crap!
yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't want you to find out this way.
That does it, man. I have got to start paying closer attention to the news.
that Thanos snap not looking too bad right now, huh?
It's not. It is not. I
Thanos,
mean,
take me away.
look, I would have loved to have skipped over a 5 year period. I'm like, that sounds pretty good to me. That's part of the fantasy of the Marvel Universe now. But yeah,
It
so
was rough, but
I also like
yeah,
to point out that like a lot of the hate went directly to Leslie Jones, who wasn't doing nothing to nobody. Like
yeah,
she,
that part really bothered me. Like especially like when I think when some hackers got into her website
uh huh.
and just started like messing with it, and I feel like there was at some point like they were leaking nudes of hers. I don't know. Like it seems like she got the most of it, and that makes no sense because like she's just an actor doing a job, and
well,
it was like people didn't take out their anger on Paul Feig. They didn't take out their anger on the company or the film production company that greenlit the thing. They took it out on just Leslie Jones, and that really chaps my hide.
and
Didn't
from
she
all
like?
That's,
directions, like
Didn't
yeah.
didn't she
all,
leave Twitter or social media for a while
yeah,
too?
she did.
Yeah.
She was getting to the point where I think she was getting decked out. What is that asshole's name? Giannis or something? And he was leading the brigade.
Oh, Milo Yiannopoulos.
Milo,
Oh, that dude. Yeah.
that
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
yeah. So he was
He's a fuck
awful.
nut.
And
Yeah.
then not only that, because Leslie's a big girl. She's tall. She's statuesque.
Hmm.
No designer wanted to dress her for the premiere.
Really?
Mm.
Wow.
Nobody. And she tweeted that, and our beautiful, lovely savior of Project Runway, Christian Siriano, said, "I will," and she looked stunning. She was given pretty woman realness. She had this gorgeous red gown on with the jewels, and she looked absolutely stunning. But like, she was getting no love from having to do anything with this picture, and it's wrong, and they're picking on her again, and it's wrong. And I love you, Leslie Jones, and I want to come over to your house and eat french fries and watch the Olympics with you because you are that
Wow.
amazing.
There we go. Leslie Jones, reach out. Answer the call.
Answer the call, Leslie. Patty.
Yeah. Patty.
She's so cute. I love that she knew all these New York historical facts. I mean, because I
I
I gotta love a fellow trivia nerd. I do.
I liked that
Mhm.
they tried to give her like skills to contribute to the group, but again, I'm just kind of wondering, like, the liberal in me is just like, okay, well, why is the one black member the one who is not a scientist? That's not a great look, you
No.
know?
Yeah.
Like the one black person in the group has to be the street smart one. I'm like, really, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Winston
yeah, and that's actually
wasn't a
yeah,
scientist.
yeah. Yeah, no, Winston was the same thing. That's what I was saying. Like they kind of like I think Joanna, you mentioned earlier how they wanted to put out like how this was like a different take on the Ghostbusters, but
Yeah,
they did so many of the same things as the original
they
Ghostbusters. You know,
do.
like you
Yeah.
said, you saw the
Yeah,
firehouse, and like even they had the thing where it's like three white scientists and a black Ghostbuster who's street savvy. It was kind of following the same formula, but it was with women, so it
yeah,
was
You know, it's
different and new.
it's
I was like,
it's like baking a
I don't
cake.
know.
You're always gonna need eggs, sugar, butter, flour, and maybe
Mm.
maybe they used almond flour instead of
I mean,
walnuts.
the big thing that struck me is it's just like, okay, why are we remaking this film outside of it being like this hugely known successful property? Why are we remaking this film with these four people? Because like we've got very talented people in the cast, so why not just make a new comedy film with them? Make the next Ghostbusters, not like literally the next Ghostbusters, but the next film that could be the phenomenon that Ghostbusters was. Because like the original Ghostbusters, it arose out of Dan Aykroyd's interest in the occult and all the psychic phenomena stuff.
Well, is it the original Ghostbusters, or is it the
Are we getting into the whole
We
filmation thing
we can
now?
do
Oh,
that. We could do that.
Oh, jeez.
I ain't got nowhere to go.
let's
Did we talk
let's
about this on
go.
the original Ghostbusters episode, Darren? I can't remember.
Uh, we might have. I definitely remember the cartoon. You're talking about the cartoon Ghostbusters with the ape Tracy and Jake and Eddie, right?
Yeah, I
Ghostbusters.
don't think it was. I don't think it was animated. I think it was like a live action show, even though it was produced by Filmation. And I think Larry Storch was in it, who
You're
just
both
passed
correct.
away. Yeah,
You're both
the
correct. It
late great
was it
Larry
was
Storch,
a
who just passed away at 99, because
yeah.
Larry Storch was a
Damn.
fucking baller. Um, Yeah, but
Storch.
when they were shooting the original Ghostbusters, they discovered they wanted to use the title Ghostbusters, and they wanted to use Ghostbusters for the name of the group within the movie. But then they discovered that Filmation owned the title, so they had to license the title from Filmation. And when they were doing the cartoon version, they couldn't just call it Ghostbusters; they had to call it the real Ghostbusters because
No, they called
Filmation
it
still had
the
the
Ghostbusters, and then when
yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
Mm.
the Ghostbusters filmation is Jake and Eddie Jr., so it's the live action guy's sons in the animated one, and Tracy, the ape, knew work with their dads.
Ah,
I don't.
okay.
I've been single for a long time.
Well, look, hey, no judgment, and hey, and no judgment till Filmation, because they had a very marketable name and they wanted to cash in on
I
it.
love that cartoon. That
Like,
was, I mean, it only was on it for a year, but like, I love that. I love the villain Primeval. Like,
mhm.
that was 2:30. I'm home and I get a cup of cocoa and a grilled cheese sandwich. Life was good.
Oh, very
and
nice.
oddly, Kate McKinnon as Holtzman has the look of the animated Egon from the real Ghostbusters
Does.
cartoon.
She does. She totally does.
She totally does. I think it's supposedly just a coincidental thing because it's like Kate McKinnon created the look, and I don't think she said that she was inspired by the blonde Egon that we have on the show. Because like when they were doing the cartoon, they did what you have to do is when you're making a cartoon, you have to make sure that you can tell all the characters apart at a glance. And all the Ghostbusters wear matching uniforms, and they all have dark hair. So that's not great because, like, in a long shot, you could easily mistake Venkman for Ray or Egon. So
Until
that's
they talk, because Winston was Arsenio Hall.
yeah.
And Venkman
And
Let's get
was
busy.
Lorenzo Music, the voice of Garfield.
Garfield.
Yeah. So yeah, I never
Absolutely.
watched much of the cartoon because I wasn't watching too many cartoon shows by then because I was like in my late teens, so I was temporarily growing out of that stuff.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
But yeah, it's very cool. It says on the IMDb trivia, Holtzman hairstyle and glasses resemble her counterpart Egon from the real Ghostbusters, but Kate McKinnon designed it herself, unrelated to the cartoon.
Interesting.
So
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Yeah, let's continue on with the movie. I don't know. I mean, I guess we could also talk about the cameos in this thing
the
because, like,
cameos,
all of
we
the
got a lot of cameos from the
Yes.
original cast in this movie.
yeah, we have Annie Potts who shows up as
Mhm.
the concierge at the reception at the hotel.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like that she answered the phone and she went, "What do you
What
want?"
do you want?
That was cute. That was cute. We have
Dan Aykroyd pops up as a cabbie.
he pops up as a cab driver. He refuses to drive to Chinatown, and he
He
says, "I ain't."
classifies the ghost.
Yeah, he says, "I ain't afraid of no ghosts."
Get it? 'Cause that's
Yeah,
the line.
and
Ah,
What if
and
Ray just fell down this really dark road and that's what he was? That's
yeah.
oh.
But he eventually got the bookstore back. So I mean, yeah, that's another thing about this movie is it does not take place in the same universe
no.
as the original Ghostbusters. And I remember Paul Feig said at the time he was like, "Well, half the fun for me was seeing them like learn how to be Ghostbusters and invent all their equipment and stuff." And I'm just like, but they don't. You don't really see them inventing the equipment in the original Ghostbusters. They just sort of have the equipment and they say they invented it, but we don't really see them testing it and all that much. I mean, they just say when they're at the hotel, they're like, "Hey, it just occurs to me we haven't really used this stuff before," but then they use it and it works fine.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Like, I mean,
they
again,
don't
that's
go
what
out
to
into
my
an alleyway and be like, "Well, here are these 3 devices that we're going to use and that we'll just use briefly in the climax and then not really do much else with."
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, they kind of cut that part out of the original and they spent it more on building up the characters and fleshing out the story, which is,
Hmm.
I don't know. That's I keep coming back to that, but yeah, that's like my main gripe about this film. I really wish they had done that instead of doing having Chris Hemsworth make Mike Hat jokes and
I
whatnot. It's like
that worked
Yeah,
for me.
no, look, he's a
But
beautiful man. No one's denying this, but
yeah,
I just I don't know. I wish you maybe
but
cut back on some of that stuff a little bit.
I do love that the hot dumb blonde was a guy.
yeah, yeah.
Because normally that hot kind of ditzy receptionist role would be a woman. Like it would kind of like they would cast
Hmm.
a Pamela Anderson type.
True, true.
So I
Yeah.
like that the dumb blonde was a hot guy, and I think maybe he should have taken his shirt off more.
Mm. All
That's
right, point taken.
me.
I mean, he did at one
Yeah.
point. He holds up,
Holds
photos
up
of
the
himself, and he has
picture.
his shirt off in both of those photos.
I mean,
So,
Right,
that was fine, but
full nips.
make the choice there.
but Chris Hemsworth deserves a movie or two where he doesn't have to take his shirt off. I mean,
Does he?
the man needs a break from his workout
Does
regimen
he?
because, like, the to work out for the superhero movies, it is insane. Humans are not meant to look like that.
I think that's the beauty of it.
I know, I know.
Right.
I mean, he is a beautiful man. Do not get me wrong, but
What do you want him to do? Just have Instagram filters? No. He made a choice. He's gonna stick with it. For me and
Mhm.
every other woman in America.
but yeah, we also have cameos from the other two. Well, no, they three other surviving cast members from the original
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. We have Ernie Hudson, who pops up at the very end as the uncle of Leslie Jones's character, who owns the hearse that they use as the Ecto One, and he comes in at the very end and he's like, "I've got 4 funerals this weekend. How am I going to do this with just one hearse?" Because their Ecto One is like absorbed into like the netherworld at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Then we also have
I mean,
Sigourney
I thought
Weaver.
that was fine, but I thought it was weird. It's like, okay, you're bringing Ernie Hudson in at the very end, and then you cut to the credits, and you don't even have like a funny line or a gag at the
Yeah,
end of
that
that. He
was
just,
that kind of fell flat there.
I just thought that was. I actually rewound the Blu-ray because I was like, wait, did I miss the final gag? And then I rewound it a few seconds, and I was like, no, they just didn't have a final gag.
Mm,
That's weird.
yeah.
They were literally like, "Hey, this guy, he was in the original one. That's cool, right? Okay, bye." And that was
Yeah,
it.
it's like, I mean, you want him to like raise his fists in the air and go, "I love this town,"
Yeah.
or
Mm.
be like, "Hey, remember when I was in this painting with Vigo?" or something. I don't know,
Right.
but
Also, Sigourney Weaver was in it at the end
yeah,
as Holtzman's mentor. He had like a
Yeah.
few
hmm
lines.
um,
But like the big
that
scene
was
was
cute.
what you guys?
That was
That was
cute.
cute.
It
Um,
was cute, but then like again, there wasn't a really big payoff.
no, she was just
None
kind
of
of
the cameos really had that big payoff, except maybe for Annie Potts.
yeah. Annie Pop. Well, I Sigourney Weaver definitely needed more of a payoff. Ernie Hudson definitely needed more of a payoff. Annie Potts and Dan Aykroyd, they were cute enough, I thought.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and we have Mr. Bill Murray as the big ghost debunker. What was
The
his
Right.
character
fabulous
name? I don't know if I wrote it down.
Dr. Martin Heiss.
Martin Heights. And so yeah, he pops up on a talk show, and then he later
Uh,
visits them in person, and he is swiftly killed by a ghost. Which I thought
yeah.
that's cute. If you're gonna have Bill Murray appear, having him appear as like a ghost debunker, sort of like the Walter Peck of this movie, I think that's a cute idea.
Yeah. He's always
It's a
getting
little weird too.
supernatural.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a little weird too because like right after this, and like the next scene is the cops coming to say what happened here, and then
yeah,
it's like the Ghostbusters are kind of making jokes about it a little bit, and I was
yeah,
like, that's a
I don't
it's a
know. I
weird
think there's
tone to
always a
set.
good reason to talk about Patrick Swayze's career. But again,
yeah.
that's
Mm.
They just go off on a weird tangent where they're saying like, "Oh, like Ghost," and then they start talking about Dirty Dancing, and
but
then
I do love Roadhouse.
yeah,
Mm.
that
All
just had the
my
feel of a weird
Be
improv
nice.
that didn't really
Be
go anywhere. But
nice, which people needed to do in 2016, but they were not
Yeah,
nice.
be nice.
I, I I like the audaciousness of them killing off Bill Murray, but I wish they'd gone a little further. I wish that they'd like started the next scene with like a shot of him of Bill Murray's corpse, and they're just like zipping up the body bag. I think that would have been great. I think, and it would have driven people nuts, but it would have been really funny.
Those
Oh
women
my
would have
god.
gotten death threats every day.
Yeah,
They did
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
It's
Well,
like
I mean, hey,
you
And
killed.
then as a zombie, like in
he
zombie.
Ah,
played the dead mayor on Parks and Rec, and it was hilarious. So, I mean, Bill Murray can
that
be
was
funny even as a corpse. This is all I'm saying.
Yes,
that's right.
that's why they became the big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Exactly, and I think he would have dug that. I think he would have been game enough to do that.
I think it's
Yeah,
also kind of funny that Lorenz L Music goes to Garfield plays Venkman in the cartoon, but Bill Murray played voice Garfield in the live action if I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
Right.
Mm.
Everything
All
comes
roads lead
together.
to Garfield.
Yeah.
Everything comes together.
Mirrors
Oh.
within mirrors
Yeah.
reflecting each other.
And
Yeah.
that's a good analogy for this movie because it is mirrors within mirrors because like they're trying to do this thing, but there are lots, literally lots of mirrors, like from everything. Like I think maybe it was just a vehicle to get Slimer and Stay Puft some work because they did eventually got more work, Slimer and Stay Puft after
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely did. Well, I mean, I know like they've. I mean, Dan Aykroyd, he's always trying to get like another Ghostbusters film up and running because he just wants like the Ghostbusters universe to expand and like I think he wants his like
Yeah.
own MCU but with Ghostbusters a little bit.
Well,
And I
I
know
mean,
this film has been in the works for the longest.
yeah. Well, I mean, they were trying ever since Ghostbusters 2 because Ghostbusters 2, even though that movie gets some grief, and I think partly undeservedly so. I think it's a perfectly fine movie.
It's a
And
good
we'll
movie. Bobby Brown's in it.
yeah, I mean we'll cover
Right.
Ghostbusters 2 eventually, and we'll probably have our buddy Kevin Israel come back for that one. Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm,
you
I'm
know it.
reading on IMDb, it says during the negotiation process for Ghostbusters 2, a deal was struck that gave Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ivan Reitman incredible veto power. No third film could be made without the approval of all four, even if one of them declined to be involved. And Reitman had to be offered the chance to direct. It says Murray was the largest holdout,
Wow.
with his reluctance to engage documented in the Sony email leaks, resulting in several drafts being written, only to end up stuck in development. They did get all four of the actors together again in 2009 for the video game version of Ghostbusters, which took place
Oh
like 2 years
man.
after Ghostbusters 2, and that was largely well received, I think. So yeah, so they
Holy moly.
eventually,
Mm.
yeah, just made it as this version, and it's yeah, I didn't think it was that great, you guys.
It's enjoyable. It's not great. They could have shaved a lot of the scenes,
Yeah.
and then there were some scenes like it took too long, so I think it's in an extended version where after Rowan, the villain,
Right.
takes over Kevin's body, and then he has all of the police and military like doing the Saturday Night Fever pose. See what I
Yeah.
did there? Um,
Hey.
and I thought that was kind of a waste because in the credits you see them dancing. That would have been funny to see. And also, the late great rest in peace, Michael K. Williams is in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Michael K. Williams paired up with Matt Walsh.
Yeah,
Weird combo.
and it worked. I think.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. I'm just like, wait, why is Michael K. Williams here? He doesn't have much to do.
He
Why
doesn't
did he
have
take this part?
And then going back to that, he's a phenomenal dancer. Like
Hmm.
any Club MTV kid knows about Crystal Waters. 100% love how he is in the video and how he is serving in that
Oh,
video.
he is. Oh, say
Yeah,
word. Oh
he's the
shit.
little guy.
I
Yeah,
did not
Oh
know
shit.
this. Okay, all right.
he was a train. Yeah, he danced for a bit. He was a dancer for years before he got
Wow.
The Wire.
Come back to the middle
Wow.
and round again.
And that's
Okay.
right, 100%.
Pure love. You never go. Oh, that
I
song
don't know
rocks.
if a dance sequence
Oh.
would have improved the movie because like I already saw that in The Mask. You know, I saw that in The Mask in 1994. So it's not. I'm not going to be too impressed with it like 22 years later.
I love a dance sequence in anything, but that's just me. As Darren will tell
Oh.
you, because that's how we met. Dance,
Mm,
working a dance recital backstage.
absolutely. Oh, Joanna. All right. So, one of your favorite dance scenes in a movie that off the top of your head.
In any movie or this one? Because they didn't really. I mean,
Any movie. Any movie.
oh well, oh god. I love That's How He Knows from Enchanted in Central Park.
Ooh,
Um,
I think I'm familiar with that one.
Obviously Dirty Dancing because I'm human.
Of course.
Oh, The one in Love, Simon, is actually pretty adorable because Simon only has so much rhythm, but he wants to dance with somebody who'll love him, and I can relate to that. You know,
Oh,
as
okay.
long as you do your little 1-2 on the beat and you have dancers around you, I think that's fine. I think go for it. And I even love the little when the girls bust their first ghost and they come back and they're playing "Party Up" by DMX, and
Mm-hmm.
poor Abby's just trying to get Kevin so badly.
Oh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Kristen Wiig's character Erin has kind of a hopeless crush on Kevin, and Kevin seems very oblivious
Has,
to it.
because she has sight,
yeah,
obviously.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So
Chris Hemsworth is a gorgeous man. We've said this over and over again on this podcast.
I think we could say it a few more times.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
That's
and
right.
Hemsworth's such a gorgeous human being. He could just like literally walk into any room and just be like, "Yes, I would like that person, please,"
Yes,
and that person would then have to sleep with Chris Hemsworth.
that would be me.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yes.
yep. Wow. All right. Chris Hemsworth
Um.
again. Answer the call.
Yeah.
Reach out.
Please, my number is not.
We also have there was a cute scene. Speaking of dance scenes, there was a very cute scene with Kate McKinnon as Holtzman dancing to El DeBarge,
Yes, Rhythm of
to,
the Night.
to the beat of the rhythm
Mm.
of the night.
Rhythm to barge in. That's actually a cute line.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that song is from like 1984 or very close to it. It's like
That
84 or
is
85.
from the seminal classic soundtrack of Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Is
That's
it?
right. One of the classic movies of the '80s. Yes.
What was it in the movie Short Circuit too, or am I thinking of
No,
the other
Who's
song?
Johnny? It's
Who's
El
Johnny?
DeBarge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. That was
Who is
El
Johnny?
DeBarge's other hit.
He has 3.
Oh man.
He has what's the third one?
You Wear It Well, which he performed on The Facts of Life.
I don't think I remember You Wear It Well.
Yeah. He
You
did.
Have I
wear it
given up
well.
on the
You
Facts
wear
of
it
Life now?
well.
And then he's one quarter of this beautiful baby making song called Secret Garden, and that's him, James Ingram, Barry White, and I want to say I'll Be Sure. Can you help me out with that?
This is above my pay grade, but I'll
Oh my
let
God,
me
we've
see.
stumped the band. This might be a first.
Secret Garden. Oh shit.
But
Yeah.
but it's a big
Tell
baby making song, you said. Okay.
me that
Making
that
babies, you say?
All
that
right.
is some baby making music right there. That song.
So if anyone out there is, having trouble conceiving, they want to make some sweet, sweet love, go look up DeBarge's Secret Garden.
Well,
Apparently that's a
it's
good baby making song.
it is a good baby making song.
All right. Good
Hey
to
now.
know. Good to know.
Prom looked very different that year for some girls.
Okay.
Mhm.
um
Keep it real.
by the way, speaking of the cameos, we have an Ozzy Osbourne cameo in here in a movie from 2016.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
That's weird, right? That's like at least 10 years after the Osbournes.
That was weird.
Yeah.
The concert was weird. The concert, like, that could have been cut at least 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
I felt like the I felt like the concert was supposed to be sort of like the hotel scene in the original Ghostbusters. Like the first
Yeah.
time they caught a ghost. Like I started to see, again, you see parallels between the first one and this one, and like how them seeing their first ghost at the mansion is a parallel to the original Ghostbusters seeing it at the library,
Yeah.
and them catching their first ghost at this concert was like them catching the first ghost at the hotel. So it was, I mean, yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, but it was still like, I don't know. I guess maybe another one of my main gripes is I thought the chemistry between the four of them could have been a little stronger. I
Yeah.
don't know why it felt off to me.
I didn't
Like,
I felt like all the character types were kind of vaguely defined except for Holtzman. I thought
Yeah.
Kate McKinnon like really went the extra mile in defining her character, and I was like,
He answered the call.
she did. She did. And
mhm.
yeah, Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig were just really kind of vague. They were kind of there. I mean, they had a running gag with Kristen Wiig getting slimed all the time, but it
Yeah.
wasn't especially funny.
No, it wasn't. It was
Um,
unfortunate.
Yeah, Yeah, I
And she
think because
says
like I
it too, but
remember.
I think it's just coming from me.
Yeah.
Am I the only one with the slime? Because like I think about this movie and I think about when we talked about one of the other Ghostbusters movies or one of our past episodes with Kevin Israel, and he
Yeah.
saw this movie and he said like his main gripe about it was that like all four of them are trying to be the funny one, which I
Yeah.
don't know if it works like that. And like I kind of have to agree because if you look at the original Ghostbusters, only Pete was trying to be the funny one. Only he was the one making jokes. Everybody
Right.
else
Right.
was being themselves, but they were
Yeah.
what they were saying was just coming out funny. Like Egon,
Right.
when he says I collect spores, mold, and fungus, he's not trying to be funny. It just
No,
comes
he's
out
just being
funny. He's
Egon.
serious though. Yeah.
That's
Or
true.
like
Everyone in this movie is sarcastic, and yeah, in the original, Venkman's sarcastic. Ray is just very eager. Egon is very deadpan. So they all have like different notes to play,
Right.
and Ernie Hudson is just kind of the guy who's like along for the ride because he doesn't really know about any of this stuff.
Ernie Hudson is us because we're like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And whenever they needed to explain something, they had Ernie Hudson there to explain it
Yeah, he was
to
he
them.
was he
yeah,
was kind of like our narrator, our
he was the
translator.
audience. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So they did.
absolutely.
I don't feel like they thought through the character dynamics real thoroughly. Um,
Yeah, I think that was like my main thing about. But it was cool to see Steve Higgins in a scene. I don't know,
Yes,
pop out of nowhere.
yes,
I mean, it was cool to see him, but again, do we need to spend this much time on the firing scene? Because like the point is like they get fired, and
yeah.
then we get to the fun stuff of them being Ghostbusters. So we don't really need a long scene of Steve Higgins doing the shtick with
The middle
with
finger.
the middle finger. I mean, it's just again like in the first movie, it's just like the guy's like, "You're all fired. Get your stuff out,"
Mhm.
and then
Yeah,
that's it. And then we get to the fun stuff of them setting up to be the Ghostbusters. So
You are a poor scientist, Doctor Venkman.
I mean, we don't need everybody to do a bit.
yeah,
So,
Yeah, I mean even when they go see the mayor, played by Andy
mhm.
Garcia,
Who
and
was rude to
you know
John
his
Mulaney at a Laker game once?
let's never
really.
forget. No, don't forget.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
The mule. Uh,
I did
And
think of you, John, when I saw Cecily Strong.
oh,
I thought of Cecily Strong when I saw Cecily Strong, but
I always, when I see her, I always think of you, and I'm rooting for you.
right.
Want to put that out
Cecily Strong, answer the call.
there. Answer the call. John's number is.
I I keep my crush on Cecily Strong in perspective. I do not ever think that is a thing that will ever happen for real. I mean,
Well,
if
not
I
with
ever
that kind
happen
of
to meet her,
attitude, mister.
what's not with that attitude, yeah. Uh,
That's
but no,
right.
I yeah,
Oh, John, you're blushing. I can hear it.
How did I make you blush?
she's pretty, you guys.
She is
Uh,
pretty. She's pretty and she can sing.
she can.
Smells
Looking forward to the second
smells like
season of
laundry.
Schmigadoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she didn't have too much to do in this movie. She's doing like a bit of a voice because it wasn't quite her natural speaking voice. She got like a little more nasal. It seemed like so she was
Yeah,
doing a bit of a character voice.
she had a
Yeah.
St. Paul dialect.
Yeah,
Mm.
but it wasn't
Yeah, like an
quite.
uptight uh,
Yeah,
suit.
yeah, she was sort of like either the Walter Peck or the guy from the second Ghostbusters. I'm forgetting the
The
actor and the
UK
character
guy,
name.
yeah.
Yeah, the guy who was the replacement Walter Peck in the second movie. Because
Right.
yeah, because I guess
Absolutely.
William Atherton was just like, I don't want to play another asshole, please.
Please,
I've
I
been
could
in
spit on
Ghost.
the
I
screen.
was the asshole in Ghostbusters. I was the asshole in Die Hard. I was the asshole in Real Genius. I don't want to be the asshole again. Please don't make
People cross the street when they see me. I don't want this anymore.
me. People have been calling me Dickless for 5 fucking years. I, I do not want this anymore.
This is a curse. Oh,
But yeah, so I mean, Cecily Strong is in it. I just don't feel like they gave her too much to do. I mean, what she was fine with what she had to do, but it was just like, yeah, anybody could have played that part, you know. So
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
It
at
wasn't.
the end, like, I think it's it's an okay movie. It could have been cut a lot. A lot of stuff could have been like
yeah,
a lot of
it's
scenes could. But I think my main issue with this movie is that it wasn't even given the chance. Like people just went on full hate with it, and maybe that sticks with some people when they watch it.
yeah,
So I think that
yeah,
I mean, from live action to filmation to 84 to 89 to 2016 to Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm going to just say it like I saw that Godzilla meme. All Ghostbusters are beautiful and should be appreciated.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Guys,
That's lovely.
be kind.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they certainly did not deserve
They
the
didn't deserve
crap that they got. I mean, just
no.
for daring to be women and daring to remake Ghostbusters. I think it's very tough for anybody to remake like a comedy classic, and
Yeah,
the original Ghostbusters is definitely a comedy classic at this point. I mean, it would be the same if like somebody was remaking Some Like It Hot or something like that. It's just like,
right.
well,
Yeah.
why bother? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah. Or like Back to the Future, which I don't think is ever going to happen because I think Zemeckis has some like type of clause where no one else can ever remake Back to the Future, which is I
but
I
it
appreciate.
will be a Broadway musical.
I think
Well, that's
yeah, I think we're never going to see a remake, a movie remake of Back to the Future as long as Bob Zemeckis is alive. I think, yeah,
uh
I think it will be greenlit the day of his funeral, sadly. But
oh.
I
and I think whoever they remake that with, however they remake it, it probably will not be as good because Back to the Future is a near perfect movie.
Like yeah, as soon as some suit comes in and green lights, like all right, we want Back to the Future with the Rock is Doc and Marty played by I don't know some guy, one of the BTS members or something.
oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, I could see that.
I'd watch the trailer.
yeah, that's a. I mean, I remember watching the trailer for this, and even the trailer didn't seem especially funny. And also, this came at a point where I was kind of thoroughly sick of Melissa McCarthy because she was everywhere. I was sick of Kristen Wiig because she was everywhere, and I've never been much of a fan of Leslie Jones. I was
Oh,
like, really,
blasphemy!
I'm like, really, the
Oh
only
dear.
one I would want to see this for is Kate McKinnon, and I thought she was far and away the best person in the movie.
Yeah, Holtzman does get the most love and
Yeah, yeah,
from
She
reviews,
does.
like
She does.
from critics and armchair
yeah,
alike.
Yeah,
and
and I think it's what you guys said. Like she's the most defined character. Yeah, the other
yeah,
characters are they don't really have any like I don't want to say I guess character their characteristics aren't really sort of defined. They're all kind of okay. That's her and that's her and like they're not. There's
yeah.
nothing that really kind of yeah.
They're very
I
vague.
just feel like they're yes, their characters need to be defined more. Like I feel like
Yeah,
with this movie they concentrated so much on putting in as many jokes as they could. They
Yeah,
put aside other things like defining and shaping out the characters more and the story and the plot and you know
yeah,
a lot of and and all that improv kind of stuff that they kept in that kind of really didn't go anywhere.
yeah.
Like I was like, just
Well,
cut
and
all that
yeah,
out and let's flush out the story.
and Paul Feig has that style where he likes to do cool improv with people, but it's like you don't always get gold from improv. I mean, there's
oh
there's a
god,
lot of crap. And there was at one point, I think it was in Andy Garcia's last scene because he was playing the mayor in this movie. At one point, he just said that took way too long, and I was just like, "That is the mantra of this movie, Andy Garcia." Like everything in this movie taking way too long. We've got like 5 minutes of Chris Hemsworth interviewing to be a receptionist. We've got 48 minutes before they suit up as Ghostbusters. We've got an extended scene of them getting fired before they can even be Ghostbusters. We've got scenes of them testing the equipment in the alley, and the whole movie, I was just kind of like, get on with it,
yeah.
please.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree.
I thought it was a funny joke where Kristen Wiig's character runs up to the mayor and tells them that
Mhm.
how much they're in danger. It's like you got to get everybody out of the town. You got to
Yes,
evacuate the city. Don't be like the mayor in Jaws. And then Andy Garcia just shoots back, "Never compare me to the mayor from Jaws."
Yeah, yeah.
Never say I'm like
That
the
was
I
cute.
thought
dog.
that was.
That was cute. I did kind of like it. They have a thing where a lot of the ghosts are coming up as parade balloons
Yeah.
for some reason, and at one point, three of the Ghostbusters are crushed under a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man
Yes.
uh, balloon because God forbid we
Mhm.
don't have a reference to every single thing from the original Ghostbusters in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
Um,
it's
remember this? Hey.
as
yeah,
much as part of the franchise as the Busters themselves.
yeah. I mean, it was just like it was like they were repeating everything though, and yeah, and there was some of that in Ghostbusters Afterlife, but I felt
The little baby ones.
I felt Ghostbusters Afterlife was trying to tell its own story more. I felt like they were steering it in a bit more of a different direction. I mean, there was still a
Yeah.
lot of fan service and
Oh,
callbacks in that one, but
they
Yeah.
did. But yeah, I mean that stayed with the lineage, that stayed with the lore of
yeah.
Ghostbusters, and
Yeah.
I wonder if this would have been more accepted if this had been a continuation of the original continuity.
it might have been.
Yeah, I
It might have
really
Maybe.
been
wonder about that because
if
I
instead of you know, if Ernie wasn't just playing
mhm.
um Patty's
Funeral
uncle, if it
director
was really,
uncle. Yeah,
if Patty's last name was, Zedmore.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Like, I mean, the
or
more I look at like the original Ghostbusters, the more I realize how that movie was like a miracle they pulled it off. It was like lightning in a bottle because every time they try
yeah,
to recreate it, they never quite get it right. They never quite get that balance of
hmm
comedy, sci-fi, and horror quite right. I guess the closest they came is Ghostbusters too, because like with the Ghostbusters
yeah,
Afterlife, it was more sci-fi horror and not as much comedy. Whereas with this
yeah,
movie, I think it's the exact opposite, where it's more comedy, not as much sci-fi horror. Like it wasn't super terrifying, and I really felt like maybe they should have spent more time also developing the villain in this, like the villain of Rowan and
yeah,
his like the reason why. I mean, I got why he was doing it. He was like, oh, he's just some
hmm
incel dude that wants to see the whole world burn, like the Joker or Taxi Driver. And I guess that was just
yeah.
enough of a that's all the backstory you really needed, I guess. But I don't know, like like, as far as the villain goes, I didn't think he was. I didn't find him like super like threatening or terrifying. I don't think.
No, I didn't find the villain very interesting. I mean, he did a like a body hopping thing. He takes over Melissa McCarthy's character for a little bit, and then he takes over Chris Hemsworth's
How
character
dare
for a
he?
little bit. And I mean, it gave them both different notes to play. But yeah, this movie I was expecting to be like just okay, honestly, but I, it didn't even live up to my modest expectations of it. I was like, this isn't especially funny and it's not especially scary. It's just kind of there.
Yeah,
And like
yeah, it
halfway through,
was.
I was just like, oh god.
I
Yeah, I know. It's
get that, but with Rowan, I think again coming from a female perspective, like
hmm
we have to, he is a villain because we have to face guys like him all the time. Like
Right.
you know, he kept saying how he's bullied and he was rejected, and you know, even the two waitresses don't want to wait on him. They're like, no, not creepy. I'll
Yeah,
you
yeah,
take
because
care
he
of him.
always
And
keeps
like
oh
him
we
in.
have to do that every day. There's always a Rowan in our life. It's
Right.
like, so I get where that was coming from because it's just like, oh, I started calling guys Rowan after that, and he's like, well, they're like, what? I was
oh.
like,
All right, that's fair enough. I didn't think of it that way. That's
Yeah.
true.
that's why I'm here.
That's well, yeah, we knew that handling this movie, I was just like, we got to get a third person to discuss this with us because if it's just like two straight dudes hating on this movie, it's not going to be a good look. So
Yeah, that's the thing about this movie too, because it came so political that if
yeah,
you say you didn't like it, then people automatically think, like you're like a MAGA Joe Rogan bro,
yeah,
and so it's hard to be critical of it. Like I feel like I remember when this movie came out,
yeah,
people were like either saying this is the worst movie ever, this is Paul Feig should be brought up on charges. This is a travesty. And then there were other people that were like, "How dare you? This movie's amazing. It's like one of the top 5 best movies of all time." And whereas
Yeah,
the truth is really kind of lies in the middle.
Yeah.
it's just okay, but it's like a thing where
it's just
I don't know.
there.
It became yeah,
But
it
I
just
mean,
became
but
hard to compete with
when you
them.
make a just okay remake of what is again a comedy classic, it becomes this outrage, and when you bring like the sexual politics on top of that, it just becomes a mess. So
Yeah.
I would just like
Yeah.
to state for the record, uh, I don't like this movie. I didn't like this movie. That doesn't mean I don't think women are funny or anything like that. Paul Feig, you did not ruin my childhood. My childhood is still good. Still good.
Yay. Steven
Saw
Spielberg
Ghostbusters
ruined
at
my
age
childhood.
12. Was very happy with it. Still happy with it. Didn't like this one so much, but you've done other things I like. You
Yeah.
made Freaks and Geeks, so you've got a lifetime
Yay.
pass from me, Paul Feig. So
Yeah, absolutely. It is weird how, like, after this movie came out, Paul Feig kind of stopped making comedies for a while because, like, for a while he was
did
like
he?
the goat. He was like the hot new comedic director for like female comedies because he did Bridesmaids, he did Spy, he
Right.
did The Heat,
Was Spy before
and
this?
then
I
it
thought Spy was after this.
was before this.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think Darren's
Yeah, this
right.
was this. Yeah, this was like the fourth time he worked with Melissa McCarthy. Then this
Uh-huh.
movie came out, and then the next movie he did was like a stylish noir whodunit with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively, A Simple Favor.
Oh, that was so
And then he,
good.
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't realize that was Paul Feig. Wow, that's
yeah,
funky. Okay, yeah, that is
he kind of laid low after this film
all
came out.
right. He like
It was
rebranded
interesting.
himself. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, oh wow, this movie really took a lot out of everybody.
I found an interesting quote from from Dan Aykroyd on IMDb trivia page. He said it says in a televised interview after the movie was released, Dan Aykroyd said, "You know, the director, he spent too much on it. He didn't shoot scenes we suggested to him, and several scenes that were going to be needed. And he said, 'Yeah, we don't need them.' Then we tested the movie, and they needed them, and he had to go back about 30 to 40 million in reshoots. So he will not be back on the Sony lot anytime soon." Shortly thereafter,
Who?
Sony clarified that the actual cost of the reshoots was 3 to 4 million. Oh, that's a big difference. And Aykroyd
Mm,
subsequently apologized to Paul Feig on social media, saying the film was a good movie and had a superb cast. But
mm.
I did not think that was possible. Dan Aykroyd saying negative things about Ghostbusters. I mean, wow.
Yeah, that's his baby.
That is his baby. And
But
I remember like the old cast, the original cast all appearing with the new cast on I think it was Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Yeah.
And you know, they were really putting on a real show of solidarity to show that they supported this new movie and they supported the new cast, and it still just didn't. I mean, the movie, I think it's pretty undeniable. The movie was a disappointment because they never made a sequel to it, and they instead rebooted it with Ghostbusters Afterlife. So,
yeah, I mean, when the movie had a 144 million budget, it made
hmm
229 mil, so it made money. But like, I think if you account for all the money they spent on advertising, like people might say it's like a bust. So, and plus, I mean, with that and all the negative, you know, press and
hmm
hate that it got, like I think a lot of people who worked on this film feel like it really wasn't worth it in the end, which is a bummer because like it's. Mm, because it
Yeah.
should have worked. I think because you got like four comedic powerhouses as the four leads. You got Paul Feig, who's directed some amazing comedies. This film
yeah,
was written by Paul Feig and Katie DePold, who, if you don't know Katie DePold, she wrote on Mad TV. She wrote The Heat that Paul Feig directed, and she also wrote on one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, Parks and Recreation. So there's a lot of comedy people involved in this movie, but yeah, for some it just it just didn't
yeah.
come together like it should have.
I have
It,
the perfect analogy for this movie.
okay, go for it.
So it's one of the running gags
hmm
involving Chinese food,
Yes.
and it's just simply not the right. All Abby, Melissa McCarthy wants is the shrimp or wonton ratio to broth.
Yes.
Because at one point there's one sad little wonton, if that, or one sad little shrimp in some hot water. Doesn't even look like broth. And then at the end, the delivery guy is so grateful that the Ghostbusters have saved the city that all he puts is one. And you just want that shrimp to broth ratio.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna get
Mm.
all the ingredients are there, but it's got to be a good ratio. And I think that also goes for equal pay in the workforce. We just want enough broth and shrimp ratio. I'm gonna go with
Yes.
that.
Fantastic.
All right. Yeah, I would
I
agree with that.
I
I
agree with
I
you.
will say, yeah, female Ghostbusters should absolutely be paid equally to male Ghostbusters. You're doing the same job. You're all
Damn
busting
straight.
ghosts.
Oh, Boston
Makes
goes.
you feel good.
You're all busting ghosts. We don't want the female Ghostbusters making like 75 cents on the dollar.
Not with all that
Damn
equipment,
straight.
No, exactly. That's a
especially if
Right.
they
lot of
keep
equipment
blowing it
involved.
up. I mean,
Yeah. So yeah, didn't really work. I guess I'm glad I saw it. I didn't like it very much. I'm honestly glad I didn't have to pay for it. I'm glad I decided to borrow it from the library instead of renting it on a streaming service.
Yeah,
So
I'm the same way. And like it I mean, I talked about my gripes about this movie. I just feel like it needed to be developed more. It needed more to borrow from Joanna's analogy. It just needed a better soup to wonton shrimp ratio. It
yes,
just needed. It was too much comedy and not enough sci-fi horror for me. And like it I don't know. It could. It just was. It just kind of left me feeling like
you were
it
hungry
was
again 2 hours
okay.
later.
Yeah, it was just exactly. It was
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
guess. And even at and you could tell they were hoping it would be something because there's a post credit scene at the very end where the Ghostbusters are in their new offices and they get the firehouse
I get the
and
firehouse.
Yeah,
they get the firehouse and like there is Patty listening to some audio recordings and then she's like, "Hey, this sounds weird. Does anybody know what Zool means?" And then it just cuts to black. You could tell, oh, that was the setup for what they thought would be the sequel, but
that was their little
that never
sequel
happened.
hook. And
Yeah.
yeah, oh, it's
Yeah.
is there a sadder thing in a movie than like a sequel hook for a sequel that never happens?
Yeah.
Mm.
Where they're just like, here's where we're gonna go next, guys. I bet
It's
you can't wait to see this.
it's kind of like the end of the most recent release of Hellboy,
Uh huh.
and then at the end you see a body part that belongs to Abe.
Oh, Abe
Oh
Sapien,
yeah.
yeah.
Abe!
Or the end of the Green Lantern movie when Sinestro puts on the yellow ring and his outfit turns into the yellow
Mhm.
and he's just and you're like, oh, Sinestro's gonna do all this badass shit in the next movie. Well, no, because this movie wasn't good, so you're not getting a sequel.
Not gonna no.
Right.
So
Or at the end of Justice League when what is it? Uh, uh, Jesse
the Joker.
Lex Luthor. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
no,
he's
Lex
and he says
Luthor.
we're gonna form a league of our own.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could you not have your supervillain say a line that makes me think of a movie about a female baseball team in the 1940s? Because I'm not going to fear this guy when he's making me recall Penny Marshall movies.
Oh.
Avoid the clap, Lex Luthor.
Exactly. It's
And that's good
yeah.
advice.
One of my favorite podcasts, the Weekly Planet. They call that the game is on when they're doing like the teaser for the sequel that never happened.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
the
just always
game
hilarious.
is on.
Yeah, there was some movie, and I'm forgetting. I think it was maybe The Mummy or something like that, or no, it was like a Dracula movie, and they had some post credits tag where the guy literally goes, "Oh, the game is on," and then never happened. So
No,
yeah,
no, no,
hey,
no
what
The
does
game
game
Zool
is
mean? So yeah,
the game is off.
the game is off. I don't think we're gonna see like a Ghostbusters No Way Home where we
Mm,
reunite all the Ghostbusters together in 20 years. I don't think that one's
Uh,
gonna happen.
that's not gonna
and
happen.
Yeah,
In
Ghostbusters
another in
of
another
Madness.
timeline, perhaps.
in another
Mm.
timeline.
Another universe, another Earth. No.
It might have been funny if they just had a tag of them getting like a cease and desist from the original Ghostbusters.
Oh wow.
And like, hey, you're infringing on our name and our logo. We don't like this.
Yeah.
We'll see you in court. And there's
We'll
and then the
see.
lawyer is Louis Tully.
And then
That.
lawyer's Lewis Tully, and we
Oh
get
my
Rick Moranis in
god.
there. Yeah.
Start the treatment, D. That is genius.
Okay, who brought the dog?
Oh, oh.
You know what this movie needed? This movie needed some Gene Kasem, is what it needed.
It did. She could have
Now
been
you're
just
talking.
everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
She could
Yeah.
have been the
Yeah,
mayor.
you could
That
have.
would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious if Gene Kasem showed up as the mayor and she was just playing it the same as her character from the original Ghostbusters. I would have loved that.
You just see the like view of the side ponytail as she's walking into the office.
Yeah. And she's just talking in that high pitched voice. That would have been fun.
Guys, I think we're writing a better Ghostbusters than
We
the
are.
movie we actually saw.
I think we are. I think we are. We know the proper proportion of wontons to soup. So yeah. Well,
Wow.
call us next time,
Yeah.
Sony.
Answer the call.
Answer the
And
call.
Call. Our number is.
Answer the call. We're ready to believe you.
ah,
Oh, I miss
love that
you
line.
so much. I
Oh, we
really
all
miss.
do. We all do.
I clapped when they showed the bust of him in the movie. I clapped in the theater.
I
I loved
somehow
his
missed that
holiness.
completely. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that scene because he a bust of him shows up early on, and I must
Yeah,
have been taking a note or something because I totally missed that.
I
I
gotta go
loved
back
him.
and check that out.
I'm gonna send
Yeah.
you guys a picture. The year he passed, I went to the firehouse, ate hook and
Hmm.
ladder. I left flowers and a Twinkie,
Oh,
Oh,
and I dressed up as Egon for Halloween that year.
nice,
oh,
nice.
oh, that's
Yeah,
adorable.
Harold Ramis was the
Oh,
best, man.
yeah.
I think he was like one of my first crushes. Like he was smart. The great wonderful thing about Egon, which I think is also why Holtzman is such a defined character, is like they know who they are, they're confident, they're not trying to please anybody. This is just what they do and who they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
Spores,
yeah.
moles, and fungus.
They
Mm-hmm.
are just living their best lives.
They're just living their best scientific life.
I will say if they announce like a Holtzman spinoff, I would totally watch that.
Yeah.
Don't really need the other characters. I just need more Holtzman. Yeah.
Now you're
So, but
talking.
I mean, I want to see Kate McKinnon and all the things. I really look forward to seeing what she's going to do now that she's left SNL because she should. I want to see her headline movies. I want to see her, have a great sitcom if that's what she wants to do next. I don't know, but she's going to be really interesting to watch.
Dancing with
Yeah,
the
I mean,
stars.
Yeah.
oh my God, this guy's. I think she's one of those. She's like one of those actors that everybody loves, and she's so beloved. I can't imagine
Yeah.
that she just has like thousands and thousands of offers. So it's just only a matter of time before she finds the right one, and then
Yeah.
it's off to the races.
I mean, I would love to see her come out with a project along the lines of like Barry or Ted Lasso that is just so beloved
Oh yeah.
and makes people like
Mm.
reassess her as a performer and just be like, "Oh my god, I had no idea Kate McKinnon had that in her. I knew she was amazing, but she's even more amazing." And get some of the love that Jason Sudeikis and Bill Hader are getting these days.
Oh yeah.
I would
That
love
would
to
be
see that.
great.
That would be a lot of fun.
Okay.
So,
Also, hey, all right. So we should also check our Twitter because I think we got some tweets about this one,
oh yes, let's
if I'm
do
not
that.
mistaken.
Let's check out the Twitter. I
Okay.
have not looked at the Twitter lately, so
I
that
think
is
we
at
saw like
SNL Nerds Show. If you want to tweet at us,
if
don't
you're
tweet at
nasty.
us right now because it's going to be too late. We're already recording.
Yes.
By the time you're listening to
The
this,
polls.
this is like days in the past. You were
That's right.
listening
The
to a
polls are
message
closed.
from the past. Yeah, the polls are closed. It's too late, people.
Okay. So we have one from our good friend Manette Maradi.
Okay, I'm
You
in
know,
it.
friend friend of the podcast, and Manette says, the movie's worst offense is being an average comedy, while the original Ghostbusters was a horror comedy. Also, way too many special effects thrown at it. I will say that Kate's character during the final fight was cool. I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we just said
I
that.
we haven't really talked about the special effects. I thought the special effects were really good.
They
So
were.
I was impressed with
Mm.
the special effects. They were very very well done because like you look back at the original Ghostbusters, there are a few shots that look kind of cheesy now.
Yeah, well, now.
But now, yeah, I mean it's 30, 40 years on. So
Yeah.
what you gonna do?
Right. And yeah, we also got another tweet from Bill Brasky, Big Bill
Bill
Brasky.
Brasky.
He says, starring current SNL writer John Higgins. Watch for him; he has a line. And yeah, you do see for a second John Higgins from Please Don't Destroy is in the film really quickly.
Okay.
He's
What
like
did he
there's a
do?
scene where the mayor there's a scene where the mayor is being interviewed on TV, and the mayor is denying that there is any ghost. He's saying like, "Oh no, there is no ghost. What happened? What everybody saw was terrorists were drugging our water supply with
Drugging her with
hallucinogens." Yeah, and then as he's being interviewed on the street, you see somebody walking by shouting "Baba Booey, Baba
Baba
Booey."
Booey.
That's
Yeah.
John. That's John Higgins.
Okay.
Huh.
That's great,
So
Steve, because the interviewer is Pat Kiernan.
yes,
New
the
York
man, the
one.
myth, the legend, Pat Kiernan.
And
Yes.
many moons ago, Darren and I were on a
Mm.
trivia team called Tribe Called Queens. And
Oh,
and yeah, I'm going there.
it's the greatest
And
night of my life.
it was the greatest night of our life.
I had the time of my.
We did
Darren,
the
Oh,
I thought
Daniel
I
LaRusso crane kick to these Cobra Kais, and it felt so good.
Darren, I thought the greatest night
fantastic.
of your life was the night that where we had the debate at Just Jake's on the best comedy duo,
Uh,
and we
that
made
was
the case for Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith in
uh,
Men in Black.
that was the greatest night of that life of that time.
Oh, that was a
This
different
was the
life.
greatest night.
Okay,
Different timelines.
gotcha,
Yes, that was my
Different timelines.
yes,
gotcha.
exactly.
Because
I lived many lives.
we all know the greatest night of Darren's life will have happened 10 years ago tomorrow because it's his wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's
Oh, look at
right.
that.
Hey, thanks, Joe. Yeah,
I
it
was
is.
there. I witnessed the whole thing.
That's right. You saw the nuptials. It was
I saw
a
the
beautiful,
nuptials.
not a
She was
dry eye in the
beautiful.
house.
She was a beautiful
It was a
bride.
great. It was pretty phenomenal. It
It was
really
a
was.
good wedding. And I've gone to a lot of
Yeah.
them, so I can be judging.
So
Yay!
happy anniversary, Darren.
Yay!
Happy anniversary. Thank you. And yeah, that's our episode, guys. Thanks so much for listening to our little podcast. That's yeah, Ghostbusters 2016. Not as bad as the incels say, not as great as some of the other people say. It's just eh, as far
You
as
can let the call go
that's
to
my overall.
voicemail.
Exactly.
I'm gonna let the call go to voicemail.
You can let it go to voicemail.
Will I return the call?
Exactly.
I don't know. If Holtzman's calling, yeah, I'll call. If it's Aaron or Abby or Patty, yeah, no, probably not.
You can maybe return the call as an email.
Yeah,
That's right.
this movie could have been an
This
email
movie could have been an email.
Fantastic.
Or a
Oh my
Super Bowl
god.
commercial.
or a Super
Really
Bowl
could have.
commercial. Yeah, I think he could have done this in like a 5-minute Super Bowl
It
commercial.
would have been
Yeah,
a great Super Bowl commercial.
it would have been a funny
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah. And then we could have seen
Absolutely.
all the incels get outraged there.
Yeah, they would have got outraged
Yeah.
there too. Which is where I say maybe it's time for you to get a new doll that you can inflate.
Oh wow, inflatable doll.
That's right.
That's making a comeback.
And then
All right.
Kristen Wiig will show up and just stab it with a Swiss Army knife.
There you
Oh
go.
boy.
Yep.
Oh jeez. All right. Oh right, that's a reference to the movie. Okay, that sounded
That's a reference to the
violent to me.
movie, a thing that happened in the movie.
I already
So
forgot it.
that is already
Uh,
swiftly fading from our memories.
Yeah.
yeah. So Joanna, thank you so much for being on our podcast. You're
Thank you
always
for having me.
A delight. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast. We know you're a fan, and we appreciate you, and we love you, and all that jazz.
Oh, I love you guys. No, seriously, pre-pandemic, you guys were my commute home on the train, and I'd just be giggling, and they're like, "What's wrong with this girl with all the hair?
That's all right.
Why should I have a haircut?"
Yes,
We make people
uh,
giggle on the train, Darren.
we did it. We did
We
it.
did it! Yay!
Yeah.
You did.
So yeah. So
And
Joanna,
then
is there
I
anything you want
listened
to
to that
plug?
and
Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I am a part of this community. There's a great podcast called We Don't Want to Grow Up. You guys should check them out. It's all the 80s and 90s cozy feels that you get. It's like having a snow day in a podcast. You get to just reminisce, and it's a feel good podcast. Stacy and Pete have it. They also have a great Facebook group. It's called the Cozy Club. Fans of We Don't Want to Grow Up. I help them out with that from time to time. You should definitely check them out. As for me personally, since the Great Resignation, I am just trying to maneuver my way around. I do have a fabulous Poshmark closet, though. You know anyone who's And I just want to thank you guys. You know, I listen to you guys. Darren and I, we go way back. We don't go way back, but maybe one day
We
we
don't,
will.
but we're new friends now.
There's not a word yet for old friends who've just met.
Oh.
A stranger is just a friend you haven't met.
There you go.
Oh. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. Oh, you got to.
All right, Darren's singing, so it's time for us to wrap
I
things
miss
up.
our karaoke nights, Darren.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that. I can't wait to go back to the stage and grace people with my singing tones.
So next week, we're kind of continuing the theme of heavily hyped things that didn't perform as well as expected or hoped for, and we are going to tackle a television show about a sketch comedy show that is very much like, but not quite, Saturday Night Live. We are going to cover Aaron Sorkin's Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
This is a big one, people. Oof.
Big one. We've got a guest lined up for this. We've got an Aaron Sorkin super fan coming in. She is ready. She is locked and loaded. She is gonna drop some Aaron Sorkin knowledge on us. And
it's gonna be a lot of fast talking.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fast talking. There's gonna be a lot of statistics. There's gonna be all sorts of stuff. We're mostly going to cover the pilot, but we also are going to talk about some of the insanity that followed on the show. And yeah, Studio 60 got insane, you guys.
Got nuts. Got bonkers.
Yeah. It gets weird. It gets weird.
That's what we like. We like the weird.
Weird in a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be next week. Until then, you can check us out on the social media. We are on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Trumbull Comic. That's spelled TRUMBULL and the word comic.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARAN Credible.
Yes. And Joanna, you want people to follow your socials? Should we plug
only
that?
if they're going to send money.
Okay.
But you can follow me at Coco Masala on Twitter and on Instagram.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, show her some love. Send her some money.
Send her some money.
Yeah. Send me some money too. I'm
send all of us some money.
Send all of us some money. We are broke people.
So
and
broke.
Send Non-Productive some money. We do have a Patreon. We've got bonus content on there. If you go to Non-Productive.com, you can find our Patreon there. And you can contribute to the Patreon and say, I am giving you this money because of the SNL Nerds. Because they're so super cool. So
yes, answer the call.
Answer the call, and let them know which nerd is your favorite.
Oh boy, don't do that! Don't divide us like
that. Don't do that. We're fragile. We can't take the answer. We can't take the answers no matter what they are.
Look what happened to Simon and Garfunkel.
Old friends.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I forget the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What it does.
So anyway, all right. So next week, please join us for Studio 60. But until then, nerds out.
Ew, I was wanting to say that.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.